Welcome to Brand Builders TV. Deep dive topics, tools and resources brought to you by global thought leaders from within the Brand Builders Club. This show gives you access to the strategies that you can use to move forward with ease and flow in every area of your life and business. In today's show, Loubna is going to share the 4 reasons you are struggling to be more productive. Learn it, model it, and get shit done. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you are having an amazing day. I know I am. So welcome to the very first start of a 4-part series. And before I dive in, there are about 10 weeks left in this amazing year that is called 2020. And I've shared this with a couple of people in the last 2 weeks. And there are one of 2 responses that I get. The very first one, which is the majority of the responses that I get, is, "Oh, there's no more time left. There is nothing I can do. This has been a lost year completely." That's one response I get. The second response is, 10 weeks left. How can I make the most out of the time that is left in terms of achieving the goals for my business? Now, these are one of 2 responses. There's very little people that think in the second way, to be really fair. I am one of those people. Whenever I say 10 weeks, I literally go, okay, how much time do I want to spend working on my business and in my business, and what can I do to make the most out of the time that I'm working on my business? And whether that is because I want to achieve something until the end of the year, or plant the seeds for everything to make 2021 an even better year than this year could be. So how about you? How does that statement or that question trigger you? Does it say, there's no time left, I better not do anything? Or does it light a fire in you thinking, okay, what can I do? What are some of the ways, how can I spend my time, and how can I make the most out of that time? And I'm going to dive a little bit deeper, so I'm going to go into some nitty gritty. So if, for example, and one of the things that I advise people, and if you're part of the Brand Builders Club, you've heard this before, and we advise that you at least on a daily basis spend 1 hour working on your business. So no matter how busy you are working in your business, serving your clients, in whatever way you do that, working on your business is also important. It's minimum 1 hour a day. So let's assume you work 5 days a week. We're going to exclude the weekend for now. So that means that 5 hours, 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, that means 5 hours a week. Now with 10 weeks left, that means you're going to be spending 50 hours working on your business. Now when you hear that number, what does it do for you? Are you right now thinking 50 hours, that's not a lot of time? Or are you thinking, okay, 50 hours, that is quite the amount of hours that I can spend working on my business. How can I spend those 50 hours? What can I do in those 50 hours that's going to move the needle in my business? So whatever your response is, the more specific you can make this, and whether it's 1 hour a day for you, or I have one entrepreneur that I know who spends 3 hours a day working on her business, whatever it is, make the calculations into how much time that is in total. Because the more clear you are right now, is you can make decisions. If you're thinking right now 50 is very little, then you can I add more hours to it? Can I make it a little bit more? Or if you're going to think 50 is all I can spend from now until the end of 2020, how can I make the most out of that time? So, welcome to Brand Builders TV. My name is Loubna, also known as the Action Accelerator, and I mentor entrepreneurs to gain clarity, focus and momentum with lightning speed. And I've spent the last 2 decades, I'm giving away my age right now, discovering everything that I can do, learning everything that I can, and experimenting with everything that I have to make sure that I am the most efficient and the most effective. So how can I get the most out of the time that I spend? Because I don't want to waste any time. So if you're watching this, then you are someone who doesn't want to waste time, who wants to make the most, who wants to create a big ripple effect in the world and create a positive impact going everywhere that you want to go. So in this 4-part series that starts today, I'm going to be helping you, supporting you in getting more done, not by working harder. I am not someone who will advocate working harder. I'm not an enemy of working hard. I do work hard myself, but it shouldn't be most of the time. You shouldn't be working hard 50 hours until the end of 2020, for example. I'm going to share with you the 4 steps to support you in getting more done and making you even more productive than you are right now. So today is all about the 4 reasons you might be struggling with productivity, because if you don't know what is going on right now, then you don't know what you need to change, and you can't make the decisions to change the issues that are making you not as productive as you would like to be. Because being productive is key to your success, however you define success. And it isn't always easy. I mean, I procrastinate, I get overwhelmed just as anyone else. I'm a human being. We experience the wide range of emotions. But that doesn't mean you can't make changes. It doesn't mean you can up-level your productivity. So I want to help you in that. I want to make sure that you've got the knowledge and the know-how to make those changes, because it doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be difficult. It will take effort, it will take practice, but let's be honest, anything worthwhile is worth doing that. So there are a couple of benefits on why you want to be productive, or why you want to spend and invest in your productivity. And one of those benefits is the feeling of accomplishment. So every time you get that idea of ticking off something on your to-do list, if you use a to-do list, you feel accomplished, you've achieved something. Every time you get in that state, your brain releases dopamine, which is a natural mood enhancer. So you feel good and you can feel it in your body. And that is a very addictive feeling to have. The more you can check off things, the more you can accomplish things, the more dopamine your brain releases. And the more worthwhile the task is to you, the better the impact and effect it has on your body. So that's reason number 2, number 1. Number 2 reason why productivity is important is productivity is all about getting more done in less time. And especially the second part is the essence behind reason number 1 is you release yourself. You have more time to spend on other things, whether that is spending time with your family, your friends, or even on your own self-care or on hobbies. You don't want work to be dominating your life, because I believe that work should be to provide a lifestyle, to provide for doing the things in life, instead of a life is all about working. So those are the 2 reasons why investing in productivity and being aware of how productive you are important. So right now, when we get to this section, is I want you to think about how productive are you. Just think about it for a moment. How productive are you? What do you, and if you want to give it a score, use a scale from 1 to 10 to score yourself on your productivity level. If you've been with me on earlier videos, then you know that I really find it very important to be self-aware. If you don't know where you are today, wherever you are today, then you don't know what you can change or how you wanting to change and make those decisions that are so important to make. So think about it. How productive are you? And let's have a look on what might be going on. So I used to work as an IT auditor. So the majority of my time I spent performing audits. And more specifically, I performed audits on the quality of IT within the Dutch government, which was very, very funny to do so, which is a very interesting environment to do audits in. That's not the reason I'm sharing this with you today. Some of these audits were performance audits. So how well are we doing as an organization, as a business unit, as a project? So what I want to do right now with you is do a little mini audit on your productivity. And this is a mini audit. I'm going to ask you 4 questions, and these are yes and no questions. So grab a pen and paper, and the only thing that you need to jot down if the answer for you is yes or if it is a no. So again, don't overthink it. As soon as I tell you the question, just jot down the answer, yes or no, and we will take it from there. Ready to do this mini audit? Question number 1, and I'm going to have a look at my notes to make sure that I do this correctly. Question number 1 is, do you feel you are in control of your workload? Whatever your workload is right now, do you feel you are in control? Yes or no? Number 2, is your email inbox regularly emptied? Or are you someone who has thousands of unread messages and you leave them unread every day? Question number 2, yes or no? Don't overthink it, just give an answer, yes or no. Are you in a distraction-free zone? Yes or no? Is question number 3. The last question of this mini audit is, are you as efficient, effective and productive as you know you could be? Yes or no? Now look at your piece of paper and count the amount of no's that you have written down, because if you've answered no to one of these questions or more, then we need to dive more into how we can make changes to your productivity level. And let me know in the comments whether you're watching this live or on the replay, on the recording. Let me know what you have gotten about. Share with me your insights and aha moments. So now we we're aware, now we know where we stand in terms of productivity. We know that productivity is key to success. We know how we feel about how productive we are. So let's dive into the 4 reasons I'm going to be sharing with you on why you might be struggling to be more productive. Now, there are many, many, many more reasons that I could be sharing with you, but I've chosen to share 4 of you to go into, deep dive into, with the time that we have together. And all of these 4 reasons, what I want you to do as I go through them is think about, is this the reason why I'm not as productive as I am right now? Is this the reason why? Because when we diagnose a situation, when we know where we are at, we can make changes. And the more specific we are about why we're not as productive, the better it will be, because then we can dive into real strategies and tools you can implement to make your changes into your productivity. So the 4 reasons you might be struggling with your productivity. Reason number 1 is technology distractions. Now, I don't know about you, but you may or may not have had this experience, and I'm actually really sure that you have had this experience. Now, in the world, in the 21st century, and we live in a world where there is information overload. There is so much information out there, and there's so much information produced on a day-to-day basis that you can easily get overwhelmed. You can easily feel like you have to spend most of your time gaining more and more of this information. But what I really want to dive into is technology, because each one of us, most of us, have a smartphone in our pocket. That's a walking, talking computer. Most of us have social media apps on our phone, and that phone pings and notifies us about everything. And one of the things that has been researched many times is the amount of time that people spend on average on social media browsing through. And whether that is scrolling through the feed on Facebook, where we are right now, or Instagram, or watching cat videos on YouTube, I'm sure that you found yourself one or more times scrolling through thinking, I'm just going to dive in for about 5 minutes. I'm just going to look and scroll through my feed. I'm just going to look into my messages to make sure that I have not missed anything. And as you're doing that, when you look up at a moment because you get distracted by something else, you find yourself that you haven't spent 5 minutes, you have been spending hours scrolling to the feed, going from one message, one post to another, or even jumping from one platform to another platform, which makes, and every one of us has had that. I mean, I've had that I thought, okay, I'm just going to jump in really quickly, spend about 5 minutes going through my feed, but going into groups that I'm part of, just to see what's going on, to see if I can be of support in any way, shape or form. And before I know it, I've been spending 2 hours scrolling through everything, commenting, liking, sharing other people's posts, and in some cases even posting myself. Now, as entrepreneurs, we know that we need to spend time on marketing. And for most of us, that means that we spend our time on social media and that we use social media to market our business, to do content marketing, to post on social media so that people know who we are, what we stand for, and what we have to offer the world. But that's very intentional. That has a reason, that has a function for spending time on social media. The problem and the issue with this is that when you do so, you get to be distracted and spend more time on social media than you need to spend. So I want you to think about it. How much time do you spend on social media? And it really doesn't matter what your platform is, but how much time do you spend on that doing scrolling? Just passively scrolling through the post. And I'm not talking about the intentional activity of going onto social media because you're going to post a blog or you're going to post a video, you're going to go live on your feed so that your target audience knows who you are, what you stand for, and what you have to offer. So think about it, how much, and if you have to make a decision, what's the percentage of time that you mindlessly scroll through social media, and what's the percentage of time that you're very intentional on the time that you spend on social media? So think about this. Is this the reason why you're struggling to be productive? Because you are distracted, spending too much time, wasting your time on social media instead of being very intentional on social media. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, that people might find themselves struggling with being more productive, and this is one that I see a lot with entrepreneurs that I speak with, is a lack of direction. That means that it could be that you don't have any goals, you don't know where you want to go. Or one of the things that I've seen earlier this week is an entrepreneur who has a lot of goals, anywhere between 15 to 20. Or you have goals, but you don't know how to achieve them. Now, whatever it is for you, if you have a lack of direction, so you don't know where you're going, you tend to be less productive because everything that you do is not really directed in making the impact and getting you the results that you need. And it might be that whether you don't have any goals, you need to get some goals. You need to really take some time to visualize, what do I want to achieve? What's the vision behind my business? What's the vision behind my life? And what are the things that I need to do to get closer to that vision? Now, bearing in mind that it's not important to know exactly how you're going to do this for every step along the way. So if your vision is in 12 months time, I want to have a business that's generating 100,000 in revenue, you don't need to know exactly right now how you're going to do that for all of the 12 months in the future. You need to be focusing on the very first steps right now. You need to know what that is and monitor and measure whilst you're doing it, because you're going to keep yourself stuck and overwhelmed and procrastinating, because you are forcing yourself to think about, I need to know exactly what and when and how I need to do that. Now, number two is you have too many goals. Now, I know how compelling it can be to make goals for about everything, but the thing that I've seen entrepreneurs do is that they just get overwhelmed by too many goals, and you're thinking, how am I ever going to get this done? And it's usually, when I dive a little bit deeper into the amount of goals, there's usually one or two game changers. There's usually one or two that if you achieve that one or two goals, that it will help with the achievement of all of the other goals. So again, try to focus on one, achieve that, and then jump to the next one. And if you focus on that, game change your goal, I am sure that it will help with achieving the rest. Now, if you have goals, but you don't know exactly how you're going to do that, or you find the tasks that you need to do difficult, or you feel that they're difficult, maybe you've never done this before. So an example of that could be for achieving your visibility goal, for example, you need to go live on one of the social media platforms, just as I am live now on Facebook. You might be thinking, but I've never done that, and I don't know how to go live. I don't know how to do that, and what I need to use to go live, how I can do that in the best way, or how to deal with engagement. Now, if you're thinking all of that, just remember, each and every one of us have had our first time in almost anything, and just practice. As one of the tips that I give entrepreneurs is to create either a Facebook group or a Facebook page. Go live. No one knows that group or page exists. And go live and practice. Do it a couple of times. So when you do it for real, it doesn't feel like it's something that you've never done before. So there are ways to get past this. So as you're thinking about, is lack of direction the reason for you that you're struggling to be more productive? So think about it, make some notes so you know what you need to be doing in the remainder of this 4-part series. So you can be more intentional on getting the knowledge and the know-how to make the changes that you need to change. So we've talked about the very first 2 reasons why you might be struggling to be more productive. Reason number 3 is, I've been through this, is the tasks that you need to do on a day-to-day basis are either boring or difficult. And with boring, I really had a laugh, because a couple of years ago, I was in a job that I was bored at. So we hear a lot about burnout, but there's also something as bore out. And it had a lot to do with what I was asked to do was so easy for me to do that I was done in about 2 hours. And I spent 3 days, I worked part-time in that job 3 days a week. And literally in about a couple of hours, I would be done with everything that I needed to do for my manager and for the organization. And my day was open. And I got really bored and thinking, I don't want to ever experience this ever again. And whenever the tasks that you're doing are bored, you will procrastinate. You will distract yourself doing tasks that are more challenging for you, that you're more excited about, and you're avoiding them at all costs. So bearing in mind, if you're too boring, you need to spice it up a little bit, or delegate those tasks to someone for whom it is way more exciting to do them than the rest. And another one is it might be too difficult. And there are a couple of reasons that you think that. Either you think it's too difficult, so we human beings have a tendency to overcomplicate things, whilst they're very simple, and business is simple. It might not be easy, but it is simple. So you're overthinking it. or it really is difficult. And if it really is difficult, then break it out in smaller chunks, because then it will be more achievable in your mind and for you than if you keep looking at it from a whole task level. So that was reason number 3. Reason number 4 has 2 parts. And reason number 4 is all around you are trying to do everything, and you are trying to do everything yourself. So less is more. Let's be really honest, and it's one of the things that I'm really an advocate for. And I know that you've heard of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, which says that 20% of the effort, time and attention that you spend generates 80% of the results. So focus on the 20% high impact tasks. Instead of having a to-do list of 25, 30 items, order them in the range of how much impact they're going to have on your business, and do those things. Because if you do those things that will generate 80% of the results, you don't have to spend a lot of time on tasks that will not do that. And we have a tendency to spend a lot of time on tasks that are not urgent and not important because they seem easy to us. So that's doing everything yourself, doing everything you and everything yourself. And part 2 is doing it. Just lost my train of thoughts. So doing everything yourself and doing everything. And as entrepreneurs, I know that we have a tendency to we have all of the hats, especially if you're starting out as a business, as an entrepreneur, is you have to do everything yourself in your business because you don't have the funds yet to outsource or delegate. But it is so important. You can't know everything and you can't do everything. You can't be good at everything. So think about other ways. If you don't have the money to delegate or to outsource something, think about if you can barter or if you can collaborate with someone that complements your skills and knowledge. But if you keep yourself in that frame of I have to do everything myself, you're going to be spending a lot of time learning things that are not important and are important for you as the entrepreneur and important for your business. So those are the 4 reasons you might be struggling. Now, as you've heard me go through this reason, which one or which ones, it could be more than one, is keeping you stuck, is keeping you struggling with productivity. The more you know about why you are struggling with your productivity, the better. And I'll be sharing with you some of the ways that you can make changes in the remainder of this 4-part series. But I really need you to be aware and be self-aware about what it is for you. Now, if you are willing and open, I would love to hear your insights, aha moments, and the reason that it is for you, so I can tailor the sessions that are coming in the next 3 weeks more to your needs and wants. Now, this is up. Our time together is up. I hope you have found this session useful and you've been able to dive deeper into why you might be struggling with your productivity. I will be back on Brand Builders TV next Thursday, same time, same place, 12 p.m. UK time. And part number 2 is going to be about your productive zone, because each and every one of us has a certain period of time in the day that we are naturally more productive. And what I teach entrepreneurs is to discover what that zone is for you and tap into it more, so that it will be less effort for you to be productive and you don't have to take any outside influences to boost your productivity. So if you're interested to know how to discover your productivity zone, I will be seeing you next week, same time, same place. This is Brand Builders TV, and I will see you next week.
I hope that you've enjoyed the show today as much as we've enjoyed making it for you. If you've got anything out of this episode, please do tell someone else how they can subscribe to the Brand Builders TV channel at youtube.com/Brand Builders TV. Why not join us at our next Brand Builders Thinkubator, a global mastermind that we run every week to take away the loneliness of being in business on your own. For more information and to book your place, visit light.brandbuilders.club/thinkubator. That's light.brandbuilders.club/thinkubator. Until next time, be the ripple that you wish to see in the world, and we'll see you soon.